magistrate reached a verdict. I have guilty or innocent. Spare me this mockery
I
of
think it was
justice.
weird. I was like, why is he talking about this? Like, why did he hit record to talk about this?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not fucking behavior.
Yeah. I was like, all right, fine. I'll just ride this storm out.
Yeah, right. Asshole.
I don't understand what's happening at all. It's like, that's how I feel about most things nowadays, though. I'm just like, why? What? Why?
Yeah, sheesh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ever see that?
I don't know.
Shit.
Don't do that.
No.
No. Okay.
Let's Gen Z talk. You know how they point to their veins and shit? I don't know what they're doing. They're fucking weird. They're fucked up. I find it weird that people say they're going to be more savvy than the last like 2 or 3 generations put together. I don't understand how that happened, but
And people saying that, or the fact that they are, or not.
Both, yeah. Like I've met a few recently. They seem to have vastly, whatever that generation was prior to them was fucking useless. I don't know what that was. It was after millennials, right?
Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
These new ones, these new like 1920 somethings, they're like strangely able. I don't know why that is.
Okay.
I can't do the math on it. They shouldn't be. But
yeah, I got a feeling that you've got a small data set here, and you're just sort of like
I'm just going off of people I meet. Yeah. I work with the public. I mean, I meet enough people to see like, you know, what age brackets and rejects and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like Kant working at the post office.
Yeah. I mean, man, I'm on the ground floor, man. I know what's what.
Yeah.
You're gonna get fucking washroom detail if you keep this up.
Oh fuck! Oh my god! Okay, so there we go. I was like, there was something.
That's secret information, I guess. Technically,
no.
I mean, we don't have to.
So I work in labor, and so we know. I know some people in labor. You know some people, and often we deal with here in Canada a little something around Ontario, something called workers. Safety and Insurance Board. That's funny that I don't know what that stands for.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's good. And anyway, fucking Amazon. So we learned today, to our like horror and not delight, but definitely
I'm not surprised either at all.
Yeah. That basically, so here's how it works in Ontario. You know, like we've got a human rights code and shit. So if you're sick or fucked up, but you can still work.
Or if like a fucking giant box falls on you at work, or fucks you up, or you get mangled or slip in the parking lot, you're supposed to be compensated until you can return to work safely and healthily.
Right. But further to that, once you have recovered, you get to come back to work on modified duties. There's a return to work protocol that this insurance the board overseas, and so we learned that the board they had a directive, and it was just like at Amazon, people can't be accommodated as washroom monitors.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So basically,
Amazon has rewarded you with, if you're injured at work, they will put you on a modified return to work and basically sit you down in a chair where you can fucking just absorb piss vapor and watch your peers just fucking defecate their bowels and piss into urinals and whatever else.
And then I guess you also get the pleasure of like narking on them if they're in there too long.
Yeah. Hey, Donnie, seems like you're shitting for more than 20 minutes here, and you're soaking up fucking Bezos's money. So, yeah. Anyway, that company is monstrous.
Oh my god.
Bezos is a fucking animalistic pig. I also watched an interview, just like a snippet of it, this space interview. And he's like, you know what he said? He said, I want to thank everybody out there, Amazon employees and Amazon, I guess, shoppers, because you paid for this. And I was I don't know if I'm horrified. And I don't know how to feel about it. I just know that
it's true.
It's wrong, man.
Yeah. And it's like, I wonder whether or not he thinks that's actually a compliment for people. Like
I believe he did. Yeah.
Like he was like, thanks everyone. Like you're the wind beneath my wings. That was the only way he knew how to say that.
That's right. And it just ended up coming across as, donkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shop Amazon. I'm surprised that wasn't written on the side of his big dong spaceship. Like something like that. But
my
I guess
rocket dick peasants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was strongly implied by the whole performance.
You know what the weirdest thing is too? I mean, like if you ever like peruse the internet, you can enrage yourself just by cracking open the comments on one of these things, and man, the way that the unwashed masses in the United States have been brainwashed to believe that this is just good, clean capitalism, and that this guy is just like works harder than all of us, and that you're a fucking fool if you believe the lefties is fucking bizarro.
Yeah, because I can't accept that he necessarily worked harder than all of us. Like
he didn't work at all. I don't believe that for a moment.
No, and that's not fair. Like, and I think that's because this gets leveled.
I certainly know that he. I believe that. I mean, I believe he's clever, maybe smarter than a lot of people. Maybe he's in like a very. I'm sure he has a very high IQ, and I know he had an angle, and I know he had a lot of money to start with. And that just fucking everything else just slides into place. I mean, I'm sure he shows up to work and grinds the peons into dust or whatever. And I know that he probably worked a lot. But I mean, if you believe that he works harder than the average kid at McDonald's, fuck that.
Here, I guess maybe here's how I think about it. He might work harder. He might work harder than your McDonald's kid, but that isn't the reason that he's a billionaire. Like that, and because that's the part that I think
that's the key. Yeah
because you're right. Like anyone who got rich doing shit had money ahead of time. Like except I guess unless you're Abraham Lincoln, but even he wasn't a billionaire. He just happened to become president of a country that was fuck all at the time. So, and then, sadly that's the only example I can think of. But I think maybe that's telling. You got to have money, you got to have the resources, and you got to be in the right place at the right time, and you have to also be good at something. So I just believe that he's good at something. Like he's good at seeing an opportunity and taking it. And like Amazon's logistics.
What do you get out of ruining the planet, though? Like what's the fucking end game?
Yeah, and that's the question. And I've been contemplating him as the worst billionaire. I think I said that this morning.
Yeah, he is. I mean, like even Bill Gates seems to make some fucking effort to try to find a place to stand where he's not a monster. I'm not saying he's a fucking humanitarian or anything like that, but I mean, like, I feel like he's at least sort of like directs some of his fucking money into trying to figure out what the fuck's going on the planet, Yeah,
well, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to call him a humanitarian, because I think he is one. Whether or not he's doing a good job of it, or if he's like a weird humanitarian is another question. But
right,
yeah, and like Bill Gates had never. Fuck it. Okay, no one listening to this should interpret any part of this conversation as Bill Gates fan club.
Also, like I have no ground to stand on. I don't know anything about any of them. I just know that I mean the jig is up. Billionaires are a fucking nightmare on the world economy. Everybody knows that. I mean, if you don't know that, you're a dipshit. And then I just don't understand what the end game is for all of it. Like you figure like they would begin to realize that, they've got unlimited wealth. Them and their like like fucking chromosome-less children will live on as slobbering, goofy billionaires, for generation after generation. So like you succeeded in that sense, but I mean, like, when do you just stop and be like, wait a sec, this is like, like this is ruining everything.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things. I was going to say that Bill Gates, fine, whatever we think of him, like he doesn't run fucking slave factories. I don't think. Like Amazon's Bezos's money is different than I feel than the other mega rich. In that it's profoundly exploitative of poor people. And
he also found a way to like he found a way to like lower the bar on bad labor in America, which like Walmart really was the fucking flag bearer of prior to this, and they're looking like a fucking 5-star employer right about now.
Yeah, I guess, okay, so we've been pontificating, and that's fine, but I guess there's someone out there listening, and they're like, you know what, guys, you fucking shop at Walmart and you bought some shit off Amazon, and shut the fuck up. You just shut up. That's what they're saying to us right now. And that, and I say that in my head to myself quite a bit. Because like, well, I see it, I'm just like, well, we made that monster, just like we made Walmart.
I'll make a baby shit stance and stop shopping. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
That's all you can do, I guess. I mean,
it brings us back full circle.
You'll not get my $200 this year.
Yeah, so you just lost yourself a customer. You're a big fucking space dick. Yeah, but that brings us back full circle, because like it started off with him thanking us personally, and I think I think everybody got so fucking disgusted because they just felt the cold hard sting of truth. Like it's like he put $20 on the lampstand as he walked out the door.
Yeah, I know, and he's gonna get he's gonna get prostate cancer at some point or another, and I'm gonna sit back with a glass of rye, and he'll just die inside my lifetime. It's gonna be fucking beautiful. But I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, when you got the billions,
yeah,
and you see that end, it's the end we all get. Okay, maybe not that exact end. That's a rough one. But I mean, you get some kind of end that's not charming.
Yeah.
It comes for us all. But like, I mean, when you have all that money, like, and you're dicking into space and you've achieved all your goals and you got rid of your wife or whatever, when do you stop and say, like, maybe I should fucking try to correct America, with my money, because I could.
Yeah, do something. Just fucking
anything,
he's,
man.
Yeah.
Give your guys give your guys $20 an hour. It wouldn't even have a fucking effect on your company.
Yeah. But it's I don't know. It's an interesting question. Like, why not? And I'm sure there's all sorts of thoughts in this person that will never meet's head about why you want to stay on top. But like, once you have the gross domestic product of Nigeria in your back pocket, I made that up. I have no idea what Nigeria's gross domestic product is. He probably has more money than that.
I would assume. Yeah.
So what's
Probably
the
Italy.
fucking point? Yeah. He's got Italy money. You know what I'm saying? He might. I don't know. I don't fucking know. So, you know what I wish, James? I wish that there was a hero out there for us, someone who would see the corruption and the lies, and would finally do something about it, and try to liberate us from
maybe go as far as to kill the president. Whoa!
Oh, yeah, might as well. I don't know. What would be
fictitiously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, don't kick us off YouTube there.
Yeah, I don't want to get banned on YouTube again from. They don't even ban you for real. A bot bans you. They don't even have a fucking. I wish they had a fat sloppy kind of screener that they use, but they don't even go that far.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. Like, there's probably a human that checks up on the bot later, just to see what kind of mess the
Yeah.
robot's made.
Well, no, that's
Oh,
that's when people that's when you get like a a creative protest to having your content removed, like you issued. That's when Billy at the old desk gets it. Oh, fuck me.
yeah,
Goes
yeah,
and listens to it. Nah, he's right. I'll put it back
yeah.
up.
It's fine. They sound legit.
Yeah. And
So
then the
today,
fucking P monitor tells him to get back to his desk.
so today, the Extinct Agenda, we're gonna talk about little Warren Ellis. Speaking of fucking piss vapor, we're going back to Warren Ellis and a little something called Black Summer, with illustrated by Juan. We're gonna go with Juan Jose Rip, but I have no idea if that's the correct pronunciation. Uh, Avatar Press, and this is like 2007 to 2008. Yeah, May 2007 to July 2008. So this is pre-Obama, and we're still in George Bush land. So I guess we already alluded to this, but for anyone who hasn't read that, it's Avatar Press. I think I already said the a superhero basically, like, discovering that the Iraq War was a lie and resulted in hundreds of thousands of individuals' death, just decides to, and also that a president came very close and possibly did steal an election, the year 2000. That kind of happened, and Warren takes the spin that it was a stolen election, and or at least this character in this universe, it's illustrated as explicitly stolen, and then he fucking murders the president, and then comes out on live television and tells everyone, "I've killed the president. There's nothing to do about it. You are going to have free and fair elections. You have like a month to do it," or something like that. I forget. The details are a little low.
Yeah, John Horace. He splatters them, and he basically says that, yeah, we're supposed to fight evil. This administration committed war crimes and illegal activities, and you basically decided to execute them.
Yeah. And but I was taken with the fact that he wants them to have elections. Like, he's murdered them. He's like, this isn't a terrorist act. This isn't a coup. This is simply one man ending the freedom of criminals dangerous to the American spirit. And he's just like, have elections. Start organizing. I did this to free you. And but then, of course, that doesn't really go over well. And and all the action of the book jumps from there, and all the the people associated with John Horace, all the members of the Seven Guns, sort of like kind of a Justice League in a Warren Ellis sense.
Or like I mean, their power sets are like X-Men-ish, Justice League, more of a Black Ops kind of a unit, I guess, but like sort of a little spin from everything, sort of a.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at some of these names, like Catherine Artemis. She drives that motorcycle. Dominic, he's kind of a Hulk guy. One of them's sort of a Flash analog.
Yeah.
Angel One's kind of like a Hawk girl, I guess. But if they're all leather clad.
What's Tom?
Tom Noir, he's like a Batman.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Smart. Yeah.
Yeah, and Horace.
And then
is
our
like
John
Superman.
Horace is a Superman or whatever, Magneto.
Yeah. He's kind of more of a Magneto, but like it's kind of in those archetypes, like it's kind of like, but everyone's wearing leather. Everyone's got a smart ass attitude. There's tons of fucking bodies just exploding all over the place in really, really amazingly rendered art.
Amazingly rendered. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, like, the art took this book to like another level. Like,
oh yeah,
from like a sort of a ham-fisted president assassination, the Justice League assassinate the president sort of a book, and then sort of put it on the next pay grade.
Yeah. And so here's my Juan Jose Rip. He's got a long history with Avatar Press. He basically started in 2002, and he carried through to about 2009, and he's still doing projects and stuff. But works together with Warren Ellis, illustrates some Alan Moore stuff. He actually, and there's that RoboCop book, that the adaptation of RoboCop 2, which we never got around to reading, but maybe
I'd love to now looking at this art again, but
yeah, I don't know why what I wanted to say, I think, was that early on I found his art very murky. Like even in some of these pages, even as cool as it is, there's a term in art, like illustration, a horror of a vacuum. And this guy, like, no part of the page is untouched. Like there's no vacuum here. It's all very, very full. And sometimes you don't. It comes like a lot of the, not all the time, but sometimes it comes off as very flat as a consequence. And I don't quite know what I'm looking at. And then other times it's like he's like sort of channeling like a Frank Quitely, where like all the pieces seem to have their own dimensions. So it's kind of
and the horror is amazing.
Yeah. I was flipping through it with Matthew this morning, and he was having a great time. And he was like, "Oh," and I was like, when that guy picks up a tank and throws it at an airplane, not an airplane,
Awesome.
at a helicopter, and then the other helicopter smashes the other helicopter, and then they crash. That was handled. That was taken very well by a 3-year-old. He was like, "Ba-boom!"
You like that? Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I caught Maddie flipping through it too, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
It's got some books, that are a bit over the top.
Yeah, it's not child appropriate, by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just, it is eye catching.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
Yeah,
like when that guy tries to assassinate Tom Noir and he fucking super shoots the guy's dick off. Oh no, sorry, that was a vodka bottle.
Oh,
that he castrated him with.
Yeah, and then I just had, he knows. I'm looking at the page afterwards right now where the cyborg guy's body is exploded all over the fucking ground, and his dick's gone, and he's got a hole in his chest, and he looks shocked. And then what's his name? Tom Noir? Tom.
Yeah.
Tom is looking shocked, like looking scared, and he's like, and it's good because that's a whole page of silence, and it's handled. It's almost like 2 pages of very, very quiet explosions and aftermath and whatnot. And Warren and this guy pace everything out pretty well. Like,
I think so too, and I like the way the backstory's handled.
Okay.
Sort of in the black and white memories.
Right.
I like that. I think it pauses because the story obviously, like in real time, like this story is moving quickly. Like this guy is getting assassinated. He's like a fucking James Bond style, like fugitive from justice because his buddy fucking John killed the president, and he's crippled and drunk, and he's gonna have to get the fuck out of Dodge. So like things in that current universe are moving very quickly. So to break it up and give you like a backstory on sort of how the Justice League was formed or whatever is pretty great.
Yeah, and it starts off almost immediately. You know what? Actually, that's funny. I forgot he's missing a leg. Like that's kind of interesting. You don't often see a lot of superhero characters with genuine disabilities. I mean, like later on, they're gonna give him a prosthetic to replace his missing leg, but that's just I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Well, his leg was blown off in a combat scenario too, which is like sort of like sobering for a superhero universe, to have your Batman be like a sort of a broken down smoking drunk because he lost a limb and is traumatized because of the death of a loved one.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's always Warren just channeling an excuse to be a drunk piece of shit.
He does like to, yeah, there's a large number of his characters who are drunk pieces of shit.
Yeah. And they're always your main protagonist too. little
Yeah.
something there, little something.
Yeah,
something.
even Jenny Sparks is follows under that. So even when it's a woman, it's just like, virtue is a chain smoking wastoid who is angry and will stab you in the dick. That's what goodness looks like. That's
right.
Warren Ellis. Yeah, you're right. The flashbacks are very helpful because this story is not only moving fast, like it's not much of a story. It's more of a series of character moments that happen to have a story around it.
Yeah, it's an action piece. It's like it could be a movie.
Yeah.
Be a fucking quite the budget, or it'd be a CGI shit show.
Yeah, this could never. And this is actually another. It's a book like this is kind of like, not to give it too much praise, but like this is why comics can remain their own medium. Like why because comics can still tell action stories that movies will never be able to sort of catch up on, because it has an unlimited budget. And you're right,
because you can't sell this because you never get any kind of a budget to make this look right on the risk that anybody would even show up to the theater to see it.
Yeah, what would be the fucking point of getting this right?
No, the only way you could do that is if somebody took like full like allowed this with like a major franchise like Marvel or DC, and nobody would. I mean, the closest thing you'll get is Deadpool. I would think.
All right.
To like a rated R shit show that somebody allowed to have a monster budget for some bizarre reason and caught on mainstream. That's an oddity.
Yeah. Again, this isn't fun, but this isn't funny either. Like, Deadpool. I still haven't seen that movie, but if I had to guess, like, it works for the same. It works commercially for the same reason that like fucking Suicide Squad is going to work, and pretty much James Gunn movies, like in the Marvel movies, like people want to have fun, even if it's a rated R shit show. Like they just want to, they want their comedy.
You're boycotting Deadpool?
I am.
Or just not really, like, if it comes up, comes up.
Yeah, like yeah, that's exactly it. If I'm not. Why is it boycotting? Like I'm just not interested. I'm not against it. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like it's just about.
I know the Marvel thing kind of you've seen Iron Man. It's run its course.
Well, even if it hadn't, I don't know. It just doesn't interest me. Like I know what that story is. I've read a bunch of Deadpool comics. Like I know that character. I know the story, and I might want to see Josh Brolin's Cable, but I don't see.
I was gonna say, if you were gonna dip in, treat yourself to Brolin's Cable, which would be the second installment. I don't think that you'd miss anything between that and the first one. Really, well, I mean, Ryan Reynolds kind of like he's channeling it.
He really is. I'll give him that.
He's Tony Stark himself into like that you can't imagine anyone else being capable to play that role. It's he got himself his he's in his corner. That's all.
Actually, that's the third reason it works. Then now that I'm thinking about it, like because you're right. Even Cynthia really enjoyed those commercials for in preparation for Deadpool 2 when he's what was that guy who would paint on
those were good. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Bob Ross. Yeah. Or there was one with the soccer player, I think, that he invited over to his house or insulted or something. It was fucking stupid. It was just like a little bit, like a commercial bit.
Yeah, no, and he's so charming, even though he's wearing that mask. And I think it's especially because he's wearing the mask. Like it's so weird.
It's perverse. It's
So anyway, enough about that. Like and this book is perverse, but it's not tongue in cheek in any respect. It takes itself real serious in the way that Warren Ellis stories do. Like everyone's so cool, and like I say that in scare quotes. And
it's true. There's so much like anger in his books too, and there's nothing funny. There's not a single funny moment or quip or like anything.
Not in this book.
No, not in this particular book. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he can be sort of funny. I mean, like some of the stuff, we laughed at Transmet, that fucking dog.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Transmit's Carlson's. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like, hey man, that's a high watermark though.
I think he has other works that I prefer. I'm just like, he can be a funny guy.
What is it?
Yeah. The one that I prefer, I probably prefer Planetary more than Transmet.
Yeah, that's very good.
And I love his Avatar work. Like, I think Warren is best placed in the world of Avatar, where it's almost an exploitation. Like this is superhero exploitation as a genre. I don't know what else to call it. And which is basically what Avatar is. It's a.
I'm sure he'd get a heart palpitations if somebody told him he could do a story in this vein with the Justice League. But just nobody would allow that with their character crew, like their creative.
Yeah.
I think the closest thing anybody's come is maybe that Grant Morrison Justice League story where they let him do the Earth 2 type of thing or whatever.
Oh right, yeah.
That was very cool, and he got to like mess with the characters, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, they still didn't directly let him mess with the characters. You had to
I don't think he wants to
universe or whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want to? I would love to see that be allowed. Like, I don't know what the taboo is on it. I don't think.
Oh wait, no. Sorry. What I mean though is Grant Morrison would never want to do that. Like that's not in his DNA. Yeah. but yeah, well, I don't know. It's funny though. Like Mark Millar is probably like I think these guys don't want to. Like what would be the point if you're gonna fuck around and make Batman into a drunk loser who's upset about his.
You may as well make your own, create your own type of Batman.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
which is what they've all done basically, right?
Yeah, they take up that archetype, and when they do write Justice League, like Mark Millar's Superman stories are very wholesome and very smart. I haven't read Red Sun, but he did like Superman the Animated Series comic book for a while, and those stories are actually pretty good. And Warren wrote for actually the Justice League cartoon. He did a 2-part story. And like in sort of in that classic vein, but it has some Warren Ellis isms in it. Like you can hear his voice. I think when they get hired to do the job, like they realize like, it's kind of, you don't need to fuck with Superman. Like if you want to fuck with Superman, just do it somewhere else. Yeah. I guess there's tons of stories like that already where like, what if the superheroes were shitty?
Yeah. I mean,
yes. See Garth Ennis.
Yeah. Actually, the new season of The Boys is about to drop. If you want to fucking treat yourself to some breast milk.
Get back to some Bezos. That's the problem, Like there's just like a lot of stuff, He's in there. I don't know what to say. Obviously, we've been dancing around this fucking book, like the Black Summer book. I really don't know what to say about it, other than it was like pretty cool. It was very Warren Ellis, but it was also very slight. Like at the end, I didn't feel anything. I had to write down what everybody's name was because like I knew what they looked like visually, and I had like a general sense of their character. But these weren't actual characters to me. This was just kind of like a bunch of stuff that happened and looked cool.
I kind of know what you mean. Like, I did enjoy it. I like the way it was executed, but it was like it was an action movie. It was
Yeah, I think, but he tries, like the last line of the book, and I think this is a common fault, like we were talking about like, ranking the greats of the British invasion and the first, second, third wave of British invasion. And I think we were putting Garth Ennis above Warren Ellis, and definitely Mark Millar above Warren Ellis, because I don't think I've ever really
still feel that way about Garth.
Oh yeah, I would definitely put Garth way above Warren Ellis. In that ranking.
That makes me happy.
Oh, but that's good. Well, just because Garth can make me feel things. At the end of this book, I don't feel a fucking thing. And even though he's trying, the last lines are, "I've got time. I'm just here waiting to kill my oldest friend because he cared too much about saving the day." And you read it, and it's kind of
Yeah, he's trying to evoke or whatever, but
yeah, I just don't feel their friendship. These two characters, it's just them talking at each other and just trying to be so clever all the time. And you don't mind because it's entertaining, and Warren has an excellent pace and is very good at action. And but yeah, then you get to the end and you're like, well, that all happened. What about the president that was killed at the beginning? Did they have free and fair elections? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, and they didn't. You're right. They didn't really I don't feel like they built up John and Tom. They told he had to make up because he did this in one book. He had to make up so much backstory to figure out how you even had a team in the fucking first place, and also who would be capable of killing the team, which was basically the same guy that fucking put the adamantium in Wolverine's bones. Anyway, and then he just writes this was great. Fuck you, Dominic. You fucking body dysmorphia, porn addict, trust fund baby, compulsive masturbator, motherfucker. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, but that's classic Warren. It's fun to read on the page, but then you're imagine someone saying that, and imagine someone saying that pretty much all the time, because it's a Warren Ellis book. And imagine a bunch of other books where everybody acts exactly the same. There's no variation. It's just he's, and I guess you could say the same thing about Garth Ennis. His character.
Well, you could say that. You say that about Garth, but Garth's book directly translated onto TV. So clearly his dialogue's got some kind of an edge. And the same with Mark Millar, but Warren, his dialogue's not as capable as theirs.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know if that's
no, I shouldn't say that. I should say it just doesn't. I guess it doesn't translate as well to actually speaking scripted lines.
Yeah, well, actually, because one of the reasons I liked Castlevania as a cartoon quite a bit, but then it kind of lost its way, and then it turned into the Warren Ellis show, and it was all these cartoon characters and people, voice actors, delivering Warren Ellis lines, and I just felt embarrassed for everybody involved, and it it just kind of felt stupid and it was going nowhere at a certain point. And Warren suffers from that problem. At a certain point, he's got a head of steam and he's got some stuff that he wants to do, and sometimes it's really good, and then but then it so quickly falls apart into pointless, and I think this book kind of did that. It's not a coherent story.
Well, and the weird part too, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So he spent 24 pages building the relationship, or even more, 20, maybe almost 30 pages building the relationship between the Hulk and Tom. Why the fuck did you do that? And then at the end, I'm supposed to give a fuck about John. What? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened here. He made a couple mistakes, or I don't know. This could. I mean, I think he could have done a 2-book here.
Something, but and I think but we enjoyed ourselves reading it. I think we're
fun.
Yeah. I think we're just trying to figure out why it's good, but why is it I would, if you gave me the choice of Avatar books, I'm gonna go with Crossed, and maybe actually the only Warren book that of his superhero stuff at Avatar that I absolutely kind of say like gotta have is a little something called Super Gods that he did in 2009. And that's kind of like him doing his Miracle Man rip, and but otherwise like it's just kind of meh. And I'd pick a Garth Ennis book because like it's going to be funnier, it's going to be grosser, and it's going to make me feel something. And yeah, Warren just can't deliver.
Ouch.
Yeah, I do like. Sorry, I know we've been kind of shitting on him, but I like the general. Like when John Horace lands and there's that, he's like, are we gonna fight? And he's like, I'm not gonna fight you. Like you've already killed like so many of my people. Let's talk.
Oh,
and he's kind of
that was actually a cool moment.
Yeah. And and they have an actual interaction, and he helps him to sort of unlock the story of what John Noir did. He faked his own death and all that shit.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Noir. That's the other thing, was that Tom Noir went from being a drunk, crippled piece of shit, basically to like getting a wicked prosthetic leg from his Hulk friend after basically making an ass of himself, and then slipped into obscurity by faking his own death, and then anticlimactically fucking creeps out behind a fucking tree and just like bucks a murder shot into everybody. Like, I don't know. That was I think that was it just was like you were waiting for this fucking showdown, and it just shat on itself in a couple pages, and I don't know. Anticlimactic. It's the word.
Yeah, cool page though. I mean, like it's anticlimactic story wise, but it's definitely climactic visually. It's like I'm looking at an erupting fucking cemetery, like a big fucking.
Oh well, I mean the one person that Juan did not disappoint, and he delivered literally on every page.
Absolutely.
He delivered silent panels of John fighting the Air Force for page after page. It was incredible. His covers are incredible. It was unreal. I mean, he rendered something really special. That's for sure.
I love when my favorite thing about this book is looking at the scenes where all the soldiers are fucking getting massacred, and he takes the time to show the horror in the soldiers' eyes as they're like trying to hold their guts in and stuff like that, or their arms all fucked up,
or like one guy's head's just coming apart, sort of, and his vertebrae are hanging out. It's all in like mid-action, sort of.
Yeah. It's very it's very cartoonish, but it's satisfying. Like it's exactly what you want, which is why I kind of put it as exploitation art. Because it's like it's splatter. Like these people are being fucking splattered. And there's explosions everywhere. It's just chaos. And it's
I like
cool.
when they use their friend as a human shield.
Yeah. And then insult him at the same time as they're doing it. So, Warren Ellis.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the kind of a thing. Like he's I don't know. His characters are all fucking dicks. I don't know if he's ever written like a decent fucking human in any of his stories, but
I like their Superman. Like I like John. He's awesome. I like how they descended the sort of new wave guns upon him, and then he just shows up back at the fucking graveyard at the end with two of his little eyes left or whatever.
And he's kind of he's definitely a Magneto in that way. I think when you described him as Magneto earlier, he is that. Like he even like looks at like he's even wearing a Magneto fucking helmet. Whereas Tom Noir looks more like a gothed out Judge Dredd.
I mean, we're kind of close to the Matrix here, I think, for date range.
We're closer. Yeah, like it's 2007. I mean, probably Matrix 3 has come out by now. The
Matrix 3.
Matrix Revolutions. Yeah. Speaking of a movie that's just like, what's the point? What was the point of that? Yeah, I don't know. He just like he is I read an interview with Warren, prior to the release of this book, and he was like, there's a lot of people talking about superheroes, and right now everybody's in sort of a retro phase, and because they were like Grant Morrison's doing JLA, I think it's coming to an end at about this time, and then you've got your Mark Wades, you've got your Kurt Busiek, you've got like basically everybody's like, it's cool to like superheroes again.
Don't say rude things about Kurt Busiek. Class act.
Yeah. Why? Mark Wade's a class act.
Mark Wade's pretty great.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I haven't heard anything bad about him. Anyway, so he was just like, I don't know, like what aspect of superhero is kind of interesting to me, and for this story, he was kind of interested in that question of where's the line. Like if a superhero is supposed to engage with evil, fight evil, what would that look like if the person didn't draw the line at a certain point? And it would look like someone murdering the fucking president, and then trying to get everybody fair and free elections. But the problem, which I think I've already said, is that like once that idea is put on the page, it's never returned to, it's never explored. It's just like that one act of well-meaning but ultimately like fucking I'd say kind of flawed logic, just I don't know, it just causes so much death and destruction. And maybe that's the point of the story. Don't upset the status quo with, that sounds like your perfect superhero story.
Jesus. And I also like the little detail that Juan put in that is like his hands are covered in blood. And I guess maybe that's like sort of a metaphorical thing he's doing with the art, was that just like he would have so much fucking blood on his hands. But in the book, I'll go with that. Maybe I'm reading too far into it, but like the only other thing you could go with is that he like literally like disemboweled the president with his bare hands when he had super weapons at his disposal. I don't know.
Well, that's on the cover, but in in the book, he's just
he approaches the podium and he's just
I think that's it. The fact that there's blood all over his hands. I didn't think about that, but yeah, he didn't just come in and zap the president. He fucking pulled out his guts and stuff, and then he's like, this isn't an act of terrorism. You walked out in a fucking like covered in blood, dude. Before you talk to the the entire people, like you're pointing and you're turning your bloody hand into a dirty fist.
Yeah, that's
I like how
full act of terrorism.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he's very clean throughout the rest of the book. I had actually sort of forgotten that was. I was just thinking that it was only on the cover, but later on, his hands are clean. Like he's clean until the very end when he's barely survives.
Only to get bushwhacked by old drunk Tom.
Yeah, we should all. I think we all got to watch out for that. We got to watch out. Don't get bushwhacked by old fucking drunk Tom.
Yeah, watch your back.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do we want to rate this thing? Get a sense of.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like we were pretty hard on it, but I'm probably gonna surprisingly rate it around a 7. I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. 7 floating eyeballs out of 10. And I don't.
Crippled drunks.
I think you're right. Like, because it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's one for the ages. I feel I'm being inconsistent. Like this is a 7. Like it's 7.5. I guess I have to ask myself, like, is it
this
better
is like
or worse?
like I'm happy to have this on my shelf, and like I mean, it is an absolute visual masterwork, and I mean, Warren doesn't really do it any disservice really in the writing. It's just it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. That's what it kind of falls into the Tomasi Batman comics range, where you're like, this is super serviceable. It looks great, kind of fun. It's got a lot of weak points where you're wondering what the point is.
Even Snyder and Capullo, I have many volumes of that, and I really enjoy it. But I mean, Like I'd probably trade most of them for this.
I think that's the Avatar charm, though. I think that's what Avatar brings to the table. Like, I'm not sure if it's because I think that's why I'd choose a lot of like I love Avatar books. I don't read all of them because I don't always like all the writers, but I like when guys like Warren Ellis and Garth Ennis and Alan Moore and Kieran Gillen can just fucking let it all hang out.
And where they pull these artists out of that like don't work mainstream, but absolutely create these splatter horrors and stuff. And I think that's part of it too, is like you get to
absolutely.
You get to have a comic. And if anybody sees the comic on your shelf or in your hands, they're like, what in God's name is that? Never seen a comic like that before.
Yeah.
It's the Avatar charm.
Yeah, there's I'll agree that they like surprisingly had Wan's amazing, Burroughs is amazing. That guy who did the second Crossed Badlands story, I can't remember his name. He wasn't amazing, but he was good. But a lot of their art is pretty shitty. Like Warren has worked in a lot of Avatar books, like with a guy named like Mike Wolf, and there's another person out there, and their art is fine, but it's just serviceable. It's better than the guys who did Turok the Dinosaur Hunter, like that Greg Pak shit. Like at least it's above that, but just barely.
Ouch.
I think yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. So
certainly didn't get any Bart Sears.
No, absolutely not. Although there's kind of a Bart. I don't know if Juan is self-taught, and I didn't. I only know that because it's like the first line in his Wikipedia. Self-taught artist, and then there was a bunch of other stuff, and I just didn't. Didn't actually read the Wikipedia very clearly. But I see I kind of see some Bart Sears in here. I see a lot of people. Actually, what we didn't talk about is how this guy fucking sexualizes women in his art, like really, really effectively. And like shamelessly, and that gets to what I think that's one of the reasons I want to call this exploitation art, because it's splatter. Like I'm looking at a page where we're just like gazing up at this woman's crotch, and it really emphasizes like the materiality of her jeans, and you can kind of like, with the right perverted mind, you're like, yeah, there's a vagina under there. And then she's got clearly no bra, and we're just looking up, it's pure smut. In the next page, there's this girl like she's sexually riding a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I know what page you're talking about.
Yeah,
same as the
every page. Yeah.
Those are the way he does them, even when he draws her like shooting up a crowd of Marines or whatever, their wrists are being flayed apart, their eye sockets blown out, and like her back's arced and her ass is on display in leather on her motorcycle.
Yeah.
Even there's a girl that that can fly, whose like legs are like horrifically stitched up in scars, and he still somehow manages to make her like overly chesty and sexual and like falling all over the male characters.
Yeah, and they don't really have much in the way of personality. Like it's interesting that this book, the three people who survive are the three women, but like who are these women? I don't like. They don't have personalities. They mostly bitch amongst each other.
The cover with the unzipped motorcycle suit too. Awesome.
Class. Yeah, these. I don't know, I'm looking at this, like she's flying through the air, like from helicopters, and what's the difference between this and Power Girl, right? You don't hate the player, hate the game. I think this is a case of that, and I don't know if Warren at any point is like really just emphasized that she's not wearing a bra. Make sure you can see their nipples.
Yeah.
I bet that's not.
I'd like you to blast nipples through every single uniform.
Yeah, no matter how thick the leather. Make it clear.
Flashback, nipples.
Yeah.
Present, nipples.
So, Yeah, I'm glad we remembered to talk about that because it's kind of important.
Just amazing things, indescribable images. And after a few minutes of that, I remember being on what seemed like a surgical table surrounded by what seemed like a bunch of grays.
Really?
And I had no verbal conversation with any of these entities, but I have a distinct, I remember this like I'm talking to you now. This was for sure not a dream, not anything else.
Right, I've got you. And I take it that after you returned from this trip, your hand was once again functioning.